5 things you should know if you're thinking about going to U of T. Yesterday was the first snowfall at U of T. I'm looking at my window right now and it's literally all snow, but it was really pretty and a lot of people like posted, so I'm not complaining. But anyway, I have a list. I'm just gonna get right into it. First thing you should definitely know is that your GPA or your grades will 100% drop. Doesn't matter who you are, it won't drop 10%, it will drop probably at least 20%. I had mid to high 90s all of high school. I graduated grade 12 with a 4.0 GPA, and I definitely don't have a 4.0 GPA now. It's not like it's only at U of T. Your grades will drop at least 10% probably at any Ontario university that you go to. I think just because of like the reputation that U of T has to be like a super hard school scares a lot of people away from trying to get in. But I mean, wherever you go, your GPA will drop. It's just at U of T it maybe will drop a little bit more. I think it depends what program you're in. I'm in life sciences, so I can't speak for all programs, but I do have friends in other programs that say the same thing. Last year was my first year, and I took like your general, like your 2 chemistries, your 2 biologies, calculus, and all of that. I can tell you that some of the midterm averages, like the class averages for like chemistry specifically and calculus, they were like, one of them was like 32%, another one was like 46%. And it's just like, it is discouraging, but then also you're not alone. Like everybody is in the same boat. Everybody is getting like those not so good grades, especially in the first semester of your first year, but it will get better. Like I'm in my 2nd year now and I just finished my midterm, so now all of the marks are coming out. And I think it just varies on what the class is. Like one of the class averages for one of my midterms was like a 59, but then another one was like 80. It definitely depends on your program, but it's not like one program you'll get 90s and one program you'll get 40s. Like your grades will drop no matter where you are. But I can definitely say for life science students, the averages kind of were below 50 for some of the midterms. So a second thing that you should know is that U of T is a very competitive school. There's a lot of students in a huge school with a lot of different programs. Biggest tip for like the competitiveness of the school is that in every class you have, make at least 1 to 2 friends, just in case you are sick and you can't make it to class, they can send you the notes or vice versa. And also just to converse about material, maybe study together for the midterms and the exams. Definitely in my first year, I noticed the very competitiveness of the school. But once you get into your 2nd and 3rd year and you kind of have picked your specific program, like your majors and your minors, then more of the same people you'll see in your classes, so it's easier to make friends and get over that competitive culture. So before you consider U of T, definitely know it's very competitive, but just know that there's a lot of people at the school, there's a lot of people in the same situation, and not everybody has that same mindset. So you just have to find the right people that are similar to you, and it should get better as you move into upper year courses. So the third thing you should know, and is very important, is to do your research in advance and figure out which colleges you want to apply with. So if you're international or you're outside of Toronto and you want to live on campus, U of T does have a first year residence guarantee, but depending on what colleges you apply with in your application, that's kind of what determines what residence you're going to be placed in. So when I applied to U of T, I applied with the colleges Innis and Wordsworth, and I did this because I knew that I was going to live on campus my first year, and I wanted to be in a suite style, not a dormitory style. So definitely keep that in mind when you're applying, and if you want some more information about Wordsworth College, or if you're doing your research on which colleges you want to go to, I have a video on Wordsworth College, you can check that out. There's a lot of valuable information on there for the college and the residence. So definitely do your research on which college you want to apply with, because that will impact your residence in your first year. So the fourth thing that you should definitely know about U of T before coming is that the campus is just massive. It's literally a huge campus. I'm pretty sure it's like the biggest campus in Canada. Now, this is not necessarily a bad thing. It's really good because there's a lot of people that you can meet. There's a lot of places that you can go to and get to know the city. But when it comes to classes, you definitely have to figure out where your classes are and at what time they start. So when you're doing your course selection, you need to take that into consideration. Last year when I was doing course selection, I didn't look at that. I didn't think about it at all. But then when it came down to me actually going to my classes, I had to subway. I had my calculus lecture at one end of the campus and then like another tutorial at the other end. So I had to take the subway and I had to leave 10 minutes early from one class to get 10 minutes late to the next class. So definitely think about the size of the campus when you're choosing your courses, or else you're gonna end up like me and having to subway in between your classes. The sun is starting to go down, of course, so that's great. So the last thing that you should know, and a very important thing you should know, is that when you apply to U of T and you go through your first year, you're not really in your program yet. So I applied to life sciences at U of T, but then when you're in your first year, you take your prerequisite courses that you need in order to get into your programs at the end of your first year. So a lot of people are confused by this when they're applying, including me. Like when I was applying to U of T, I was really confused by this concept, but once you're in your first year, you realize that it's actually a good thing. It gives you the option to switch around what you want to major or minor in. So for example, I went into my first year and I did my general life science courses, and then at the end of my first year, I applied for a major and 2 minors. So just because I'm a life science student doesn't mean that I can't do a minor in something that's not life science related, as long as I take the prerequisite courses to get into that program. Also, another important thing to note about this is that you should look at the programs that you're thinking of getting into and seeing if they're open or if they're limited. So if they're open, that means you just have to take the prerequisite courses and there's no supplementary application or minimum grade that you have to get. So for example, under life sciences, human biology is open, but psychology is limited. You have to have an average of 70% in your first year psychology course. So definitely look at those and see what you're thinking about doing a major or a minor in, so that way you can take your first year prerequisite courses according to what you want to apply for at the end of your first year. So that's all I have for this video. I hope you got some valuable information out of this. If you want to see anything more specific, let me know and I'd be happy to share any information with you. Overall, U of T is a great school. You should definitely consider doing your undergrad at U of T. It's not as bad as you think. One thing I just want to add is don't believe everything you hear online. A lot of people say that U of T is really hard, which it is, but it's also doable. Your first year is definitely going to be really hard wherever you go because the transition from high school to university is really hard, but there's a lot of resources at U of T and it's not as bad as everybody makes it out to be. I hope you enjoyed this video. If you want any more information on course selection at U of T or Woodsworth College or Woodsworth College residents, I have some videos on that. Thank you for watching and I'll see you in the next